Let's talk a little bit about your model, because I've always been impressed with how you approach things. You're in a storm-heavy, insurance-heavy market, but yet you are really a retail company, right?
Nearly 100%, yeah. I don't really see Florida as a storm market anymore. I mean, whenever I first got down to Florida, I definitely was taking it like that route. I mean, whenever I worked for other contractors and things, that's what I was hired on to do is, go after storm damage. Man, I hate that. A lot of people, like homeowners and policyholders, like they hate that too. I'd say like the golden times for storm restoration in Florida was like 5+ years ago. But the atmosphere has really shifted down there a lot. A lot of people are hearing things on the news like, hey, there's a lot of scams going on. Like, hey, don't trust people to come and knock on your door. And like, if they're sending that message out there, we would be fools not to kind of take that very same stance, Now, we do still knock doors, absolutely. But we knock doors within earshot and
of your job
view of a current job where, as long as people can actually hear the nail guns going off and things, like it's going to provide some legitimacy as far as why we're actually coming there and approaching them and letting them know like, hey, come check out what we're doing, Beyond all that, people don't want bothered, man. We just got a 1-star review 2 weeks ago because we were doing just that. You can't make everybody happy. And end of the day, like, I'm not going to worry about a Karen kind of being bothered by the fact that we're like making her aware of who to contact if we're in their way. If they need us to move a vehicle, like, here's who you call. Like, if you want to leave us a bad review, because that's not really a review of your experience with us as a company. Yeah. It's just, we probably caught you at a really bad time and you wanted to take it out on us, So I think it's actually good to have a mix of some not so great reviews, I think it really kind of builds into the legitimacy of like all the reviews you actually get. Because if everything's perfect, man, like that might kind of raise more of a red flag than not.
Yeah. How do you respond to those negative reviews?
We just bring awareness to what we were actually out there doing. And that's all you really can do. I mean, we can't say that we weren't there, we didn't do it. Because at the end of the day, we did. But it wasn't in an effort to solicit. It was in an effort to kind of bring awareness to like, here's who to contact, Yeah. And
it's a service to them.
I like to think of it like that. But truth be told, I mean, we want to provide a good experience to the people that we're actually out there servicing. But we also want to provide a really, really good experience to everybody that's impacted by that as well. So not just our customer, but their neighbors. Our signage that we have at job sites, like, I'm just always trying to find ways that we can really bring attention to that as well. So that if we didn't knock like a 12-pack around that build, would they still know who did it? And as long as I can walk away from that and say, yeah, they're going to know. I think I did my job.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you ever have pushback still from people where they're like, oh, I'm only interested if the insurance is going to pay for it?
I would say that there's still pockets of that. But end of the day, like, we don't really directly involve ourselves. And what I mean by that is that, when somebody wants to work through insurance, we will show them the damage that they have there. We will give them an opinion on like where we kind of see that going. And if they're adamant about wanting to go that route, we'll connect them with a public adjuster that we work with. We work with several, so it's not just like, hey, here's who you need to work with. But I find it really important to have all of my sales reps actually working with a different public adjuster. And the reason for that is because, if you're feeding them, they should be reciprocating and giving work back to you end of the day. I guess like if there's any tip I can throw out there, make sure that every single one of your sales reps are working with somebody new. Because if each of your sales reps are working with the same public adjuster, that distribution isn't going to go to each of them. Whereas if they're each working with their own, it can be a two-way path to more business, more jobs, things like that.
Yeah. So. Do you find the same thing is true for other professionals as well, like real estate agents, stuff like that, or is it specifically something for public adjusters?
It does work that way as well. I have a couple of people that work with their own real estate agents, their own insurance brokers, things, and they should all have like a number of different people that they kind of help and support. Nearly every one of my people are in either a BNI group or a networking group or a chamber of commerce or something to kind of get out there in their backyard, like who they are, what they do, and they kind of build up a referral source for their customers. That way, if one of their customers are looking to sell their home or looking for a better rate for their insurance, or a home inspector, now that they have a new roof, they're going to need a wind mitigation and things. Like, we do provide that, but everybody should be working with their own wind mitigation company or their own inspection company to kind of keep referrals going to them. But then also, as these inspectors go out and see bad roofs on homes, like, hey, I got one for you. The more people like that you can have in your own personal Rolodex, it's just going to help compound your networking efforts and just get you more business. These guys are all getting paid more for self-generating their business anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't want them to all be lead babies. A lot of them are, and I'm trying to break them of that. The thing that they're starting to learn is that the more that they bring in and self-generate, not only are they making more money, but those sales are a lot easier. And
when they're coming through their network.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they already have like the context, the legitimacy. They're not having to build that from scratch.
Yep.
Was this kind of all part of your plan when you started the roofing business, or is this
Hell
something you
no.
figured out?
I wish I was, but I've said this a million times, man. You're not going to think of everything on your own. But whenever you see somebody else doing something right, whether it be inside of our industry or outside of our industry, there's just so much that you can take away. And if you can even walk away with like one thing from every conference you attend, from every networking meeting, and just make small implementations to kind of like get you a little bit better every single time, your company's just going to grow. Like, you don't need to take big leaps with your company. If you're taking baby steps and then tweaking them to kind of like cater to your industry and your business, it's just going to make you look like an absolute rock star when another roofing company comes behind us and they're not doing this or that, and we are, and we're educating and we're showing them and we're asking the right questions and we're making sure that we're solving for their problem versus selling them our solution without really giving them any kind of like input or feedback. I don't want to corner them into picking like, oh, you want a cheap roof? Here's what we got. Oh, you want the best roof you're not going to have to worry about? Here's what we got. Show them some options and talk to them about the differences and why this may be a good option. Give them choices. Yeah. Let them pick. Because at the end of the day, they're all going to be great.
If they're installed by Steadfast Roofing, they're going to be fantastic.
Dude, listen. As long as it's got that behind it, no problems.
No problem. I love it.